Hey everyone, we are live. This is Arsenal Fan Circle. We are on a Monday night, and the four of us here, myself, Gunded News, Sam, and Tony, we are going to get into it very, very soon. We another 3-1 defeat to Liverpool, a valiant effort. But I hate talking about valiant efforts anymore. I'm tired of talking about valiant efforts, but I think we're going to get there. You know what I mean? So I think we're going to get there in the end. Introductions, Mahir. I want to give you special credit, Mahir, for taking the podcast on Saturday and stepping into my shoes ably.
You're welcome. I had a boss panel as usual, just like the panel of today. I mean, it was electric, the energy.
Well, I've just come back from Tony. I just come back from holiday, and this would have been the perfect game to cap my holiday off with, to maybe get at least a draw. I was just asking for a 2-2 draw. I wasn't being greedy, Tony, but here we go, another valiant effort by the Arsenal, and we want to get out of this lane. We're in the second lane right now. We're in the second tier, but Tony, we want to step up, and we've seen tonight where we need to be.
We just don't have enough quality of the players put in effort, but just clearly wasn't enough.
Yeah, and we'll get into that. Gary, how are you, Gary?
Hello, doing good. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us again, and we'll get into it. And keep saying we'll get into it, but we have to dig into it and pull that Band-Aid off, Sam, sooner or later.
Yep, that's for sure. Yep, it's nice to be here again. Great to see you guys. Thanks for having me.
Yep. All right. So, listen, I'm going to give everyone 30 seconds here to collect their thoughts. Everyone watching, drop a like on the video here. We're going to talk about Arsenal and get into it very soon. So I'm still not sure if I like that countdown, Gary. What do you think?
It was okay, but I wanted something else to pop up and surprise me. So I guess.
Yeah, like 3 points for the Arsenal. Listen, wasn't going to happen tonight, Gary. Unfortunately, Liverpool needs some competition in the league, and it's up to every other team to step up to their level. And we're trying to get there, but it's patently obvious there's a few gaps in our squad. This was our strongest team, I thought, that we could have put out, aside from maybe Gabriel, for Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Gary?
Yeah, I had to go look at it. I was talking to someone. I wanted to go see what I said about how I thought the game was going to go. I had a 2-0 loss to us. That's what I feared we would have. We essentially got that with the 2-goal loss. 2-1 would have been okay. And in this kind of game where I just think it was messy on both sides, which, maybe it's because, the defenses were that good that the only way anything was going to happen is if somebody made a mistake, not somebody was too talented and, overpowered the other side. So I think that's what we got today. It's just, it was an even game, I think. And at this point, it shows, we still have a ways to go to catch up to a Liverpool. I mean, I thought we had I thought our back, our bench was strong enough to come in and make a difference if we needed it. But I think we kind of put ourselves in a hole with some of those goals that came out, at the early part of the game.
Yeah, Sam, 2-1. I think a lot of Arsenal fans would have begrudgingly taken a 2-1 defeat. We didn't get our pants pulled down, as it were, as we have at Anfield in previous years. But 3-1 just kind of takes the loss off the defeat a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's. I think we're closer than we have been previously. We're going in the right direction. We have previously beaten them not long ago, in the Community Shield and also in the FA Cup. So we know we can beat them. It's these games we've had against them now, since we've had Arteta, they've been very similar. That we've had to let them have the ball and dictate play because they are the better team. They are more dominant than we are playing as a team. And we have to sit back and try and counter-attack them. That's the way we have to play them because we're not good enough to dominate. Our midfield's not good enough to dominate. We have to hit them on the counter-attack. And, it's been working well. And today, unfortunately, didn't work that well. It's one of those games where you have to take your chances when they happen. We didn't. We saw Lacazette missed a couple of huge chances they should have scored. They missed some chances as well that they could have scored. And overall, like Gary said, it was a game of mistakes, wasn't it? All the goals came from mistakes. And then we pounce on it at this level. That's what happens. They pounce on a mistake and they score, and that's it, and you lose the game. But overall, it was pretty much. I think 3-1 was about pretty much where I thought it could have been, because I thought Liverpool were going to be better today than the last two times we played them, because I think they wanted to prove that they are better, and for them to lose against us tonight, I thought was very, very unlikely. But at the end of the day, we've improved. I think that we've shown that the gap is now smaller than it was previously. Of course, we still got a long way to go, but we're going in the right direction. And this is not a game. This is not a game we looked at the fixture list. This is not a game we expected to go and win. So we just got to now brush it off and move on.
In a lot of respects, it's a bonus game. These games against top four that we are going to be fighting against, but not the games maybe against Liverpool. They are going to be bonuses for us. I think I said somewhere at the top of the program here, it's up to the rest of the teams in the Premier League to not go away with the league again this season. They are beatable. And Tony, Norma has said great improvement, but lack of finish, needs to finish off those chances. And he did wonderfully well for the goal to improvise, Tony, but a couple of other wonderful chances reminded me of Michael Thomas in 1989. Two very, very similar chances, but Michael Thomas was obviously able to take the second of those presentable chances, and Lacazette saw the white of the goalkeeper's eyes twice, and he kind of needed to put one of those away.
Yeah, he needed to get at least another one, but there's good goalkeeping on both of them too. He was under pressure. It wasn't just a clear chance.
And as Sam has mentioned, here, Liverpool's pressing, they just turned that up another 25-30% from the Charity Shield. We all knew the Charity Shield was, in essence, for getting fitness, especially this season. The Charity Shield was all about getting fitness. Liverpool were a couple of weeks ahead of us. We were able to jump out on them a little bit to get the Charity Shield, but Klopp was definitely going to drill his players to close us down at every opportunity. We persisted with passing the ball out from the back. Made me a little bit more nervous than previous weeks, I have to say. To Liverpool's credit, they did that to us.
Yeah, I mean, with a lot of them, their high presses, I mean, it is extremely nerve-wracking when we play out through the back, especially when things are looking so shaky. We're playing it in such tight positions. I'm thinking to myself, one mistake. I mean, surely they had so many opportunities to finish. Sad thing for me is seeing Laka being also disappointed. You can't blame somebody like him. He had the only guilt opportunities right in front of post, but Alisson is if not the best keeper in the Premier League. And if you actually look at it, somebody like Aubameyang, I don't like comparing directly because they're two different type of players, but somebody like Aubameyang is looking at controlling it and putting it low past the keeper instead of maybe trying to swivel so the keeper makes a dive and then we can put it easily in the back of the net. So, yeah, I'm kind of disappointed. I know we weren't expecting anything. In the last podcast, I did discuss with the two Liverpoolians that were on. And I said we weren't expecting anything from this game, but it would have been great I
Yeah.
mean, for
Yeah.
the that first point would have been great. And one other thing I want to mention to you guys is I was speaking to another Guna, my cousin Tahir, and he basically said, "Do you know what's important? It's important that the teams that we're supposed to beat, which are the smaller teams,
Yes.
we must go out and beat them this time around."
Yeah. Exactly. A Spurs fan from Portugal, James. We know you're here a lot of the time, so really, really appreciate that. We are getting some love from rival fans, and big up yourself.
Is
Gary, Lacazette, he is a big game player, and he does turn up in these games. But you kind of want one or two of those chances that he had to fall to maybe Aubameyang, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is one of those games where you're hoping your top player was able to put a mark on the game and put a goal in there. It didn't happen for him today, and I think even when he had opportunities to maybe take the shot, he still wanted to pass first, and towards the end of the game when he had that opportunity where I thought, he'll just take that, right? Nope, he passed it out and it got taken away. He I think in these types of games he gets probably kind of falls asleep at the wheel per se, because the game gets really slow. He never gets the ball, and then he forgets that he's out there to score goals when he touches it. He had a couple of tries on the outside, one-on-one with a defender. He seemed like he could make a play, and he just never decided to just put it on himself and go ahead and do that. So yeah, all in all, it was everybody had. It wasn't a perfect game for anybody, I don't think.
Yeah, and we're going to go through. We're going to talk about the mismatches. We had a number of mismatches in this team, in this game. Players that you would actually put your hand on heart and say they would do quite well. But we're going to go through that piece by piece. Tony, actually, I'm going to go to Sam next. Yeah, Sam. These Samble's asking what are Arsenal's strengths. And my notes are saying our right side is very, very poor. We rely so much on our left side.
If he's talking about today's games or Arsenal in general at the moment under Arteta, I'm not quite sure what he means about that. But if we're talking about Arsenal in general under Arteta, for me, then our strengths are definitely it's the left side with Tierney, Aubameyang, maybe with a Saka in there as well involved. It's our left side is very strong. I feel our front three can work together well. I think we have a good front three there with Willian, Aubameyang, and Lacazette. In many games against lesser clubs, they're going to work well together. I think that's a strong. That's a good asset we have, and I think. Also, I think we're getting there in defence as well, especially with Gabriel. I think Gabriel's a great asset we have at the moment, who's been looking very, very strong. And that type of player we've been lacking for a long time, who's really dominant in the air and just dominant, just like for me, he's like I know it's early days and everything, but he reminds me a lot of Sol Campbell. I see a lot of Sol Campbell in him.
Yeah.
And, and it's just so nice to see. I understand why he was dropped tonight. It was a shame not to see him tonight, but I understand you can't play him in every game. You can't play him probably at Anfield. If he has a mistake tonight, it might cause some damage to his confidence. But I understand why he was dropped tonight and why Arteta went for that same lineup he's been confident with before against Liverpool. But yeah, so we have some assets, but yeah, we have some weaknesses as well.
Yeah. Gunnar Land, thanks for joining us. We need some quality signings. That's so obvious now. Liverpool are miles ahead of us. Similar game to last season. We played Liverpool. Same result. I think we played a little bit better tonight than we did last season against them. But there are some disconnects in our squad, Tony. As Sam had said, for me, I would have liked to have seen Gabriel in the team. At the expense of probably Ainsley Maitland-Niles and put Tierney on the left as the left wing back. And I also would have liked to have Ceballos in midfield as well. I think Elneny has been a good squad player, but to play up at Anfield, and we saw the impact that Ceballos had when he did come on in the game, Tony.
Yeah, I would have started Ceballos, but I would have kept El Neni and Ben Zaka. Zaka had a horrible game to me. I don't think he should have been on the.
Yeah. Granted, Xhaka, Granit Xhaka overplaying the ball in midfield, trying to bring it out of defense and into midfield. And Liverpool were setting traps everywhere and recycling the ball out of Granit Xhaka's mistakes, David Luiz at times. So it was a little bit painful to watch in midfield. We just didn't get going tonight.
I mean, how do you expect us to keep to keep up with the likes of the midfield? I mean, we've got so many quality players in that midfield and that front line right now. Like our subscribers have just said, it's obvious
Yeah.
that we need signings. It's obvious that we need fresh blood. I mean, whether they're 27, whether they're youngins, 23, 24. I mean, even Diego Jota scored a goal on his debut today. I mean, tonight. And yeah, man, I don't know how we're gonna bridge that gap just quite yet.
Yeah. Gary, it did seem we got stretched at the end, and we kind of made that front line with Diego Jota in there kind of look good in the last 10 or 15 minutes. We just didn't have anything. We ran out of ideas, really.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think it's to be expected. I think based on where we are. I mean, going into these first three Premier League games, I thought we would stick with the same 11 so that we wouldn't lose any continuity between the players. And if Xhaka and El Neni didn't look good today, I mean, I could chalk that up to just them not playing as much as I thought they would to start at least this part of the season where there were some gaps in the first game. Putting Ceballos in for the second game may have thrown off whatever kind of continuity you had with your two midfielders. I mean, then they had to start over again. It never seems like we can continue, build on the previous game because we're always switching, especially in the midfield where we definitely know we are lacking there. When we have a partnership, I would like to see that partnership get a string of games together so they can build on it from one to the next.
Yeah, there's a little bit of chopping change. I was actually surprised that Granit Xhaka was taken off as well. But we're going to start. We'll talk about the first goal and what led up to it coming up now. But James, you brought us to a good topic here. I was just telling the boys here before we went live, we're going to actually take some time and go through some of the Premier League games of the weekend, the talking points of the weekend, and boy, did we have one or two talking points of what transpired over the weekend. I put a tweet out as well. Nothing to fear with Manchester United and Chelsea. For me, they're going to drop just as many points as we will. I think we are a better coached team than Chelsea, for instance, and maybe definitely Man United. So, Arsenal fans, don't put Man United and Chelsea above Arsenal in the discussion for top four. At least that's my opinion, anyway. Panel, do you believe Arsenal will bring in any new players by the end of the window? I'm confident that we will at least get Hussein Maher. Am I here?
I'm exactly on that same exact point. I'd love to find out from the rest of the panel what their thoughts are.
Tony, what's your feeling? Will we get one or two? Partey's kind of gone quiet a little bit. Our is still there.
I think we'll just get our. We need both of them. But I think we just need one.
Sam, our would definitely transform this midfield.
Yeah, he's definitely the type of player we need. I would love to see both him and Partey come in, but I don't think we're going to see Partey come in. I'm hoping we just get our.
Exactly. And Gary, on a night when we kind of breathed a sigh of relief that there was no Thiago in the Liverpool team. We were at least spared probably another 10% of starved possession.
Yeah, and so I think it's a catch-22. Whatever we do, we're going to be lacking in one of those positions in the midfield, right? So if we bring in Aouar, then we still have that. We don't have that defensive presence in the middle that we want in front of our back line to take the pressure off of them. If we get Partey, then do we have the ability to create goals when we have a run at it? I mean, I think there's still that disjointness that we still have on the team where we can't seem to get the ball to the right players in the right positions because we just, that ball never progresses off the back line, or, when it's coming up through the front, it's just a 1-on-4 kind of, because that's the only way we've been able to get the ball out there.
So we seem to have been starved. Liverpool kind of strangled us of air pretty much in the midfield. They kind of choked us a little bit. We were resorting to a little bit like long balls from when we were pressed, and they were just coming. Liverpool were picking those long balls up in midfield. Mahir, I actually missed the first 20 minutes, so Mahir and Tony could maybe fill me in on anything that happened. The first action I saw was Trent Alexander-Arnold taking the shot. We were lucky; it came off of Bellerin's knee and hit the crossbar. Mahir.
Yeah, it actually hit him as he was trying to almost like close his legs because his legs are open.
Yeah.
As he did this,
Between his
it
legs.
went to his leg, but it nicked, and then it went upwards towards the post. I mean, you are completely right when they say they strangled us of any air that we possibly, or position that we possibly could have. And even when we did get the ball back, we didn't maintain it. There was one or two sloppy passes, and I mean, yeah, that's how they got most of their possession, and they're very counter-attacking. Any one mistake.
That's definitely something we're gonna have to learn at doing, getting better at. We can beat Fulham 3-0, a team that probably will get relegated. We can beat West Ham, albeit a little bit luckily. And West Ham showed how well they've been playing on the back of that Arsenal game by winning 4-0 against Wolves. So. But Tony, that's something we're definitely going to have to get better at. Passing out from the back, being more comfortable with the ball against Liverpool's and the cities of the world.
Yeah, today we were really sloppy coming back from the back passes. I think we just needed to kick the ball deep a couple of times instead of trying to play it out. Just wasn't.
So, Sam, we did have some difficulty playing out from the back, but it kind of worked with the Arsenal goal. Very great assist from Robertson as well. Really like that part of the goal, Playing out Ainsley Maitland-Niles flicks it to Xhaka. He kind of does a one-time pass to Lacazette. Lacazette feeds Ainsley Maitland-Niles back again, and the cross comes to Robertson. He mishits it.
And it's just a matter of Lacazette being in the right position, isn't it? And a bit lucky, and that was it. He managed to score that one. I think it's a bit lucky as well, the way he scored as well. I don't think it was 100% as he intended, but he managed to score. And that was the goal we needed. But it was a mistake, wasn't it? Like all the goals were tonight.
Able to twist his body, Gary, in a great way to be able to get at least some contact on the ball. Alisson's already on the ground, and he can only get his fingertips to it. So, fortunate goal, but we're going to take it.
Yeah, it's interesting that he's able to make that shot with his back to the goalie, but one-on-one with the goalie face value at him, he can't get the ball past him at all. Not even the goalie. Yeah. You pick a corner, if it's the far corner, I think he gets a goal on one of those tries, even though it might have been offsides. But I think. Yeah, I'm always looking. I'm like, why don't they ever kick it towards one of the corners? Please pick a corner, anyone. Especially away from where the goalie's coming from. Typically, is where you go, right? That's I believe what you're supposed to do. But we always seem to kick it straight. To follow the ball. That's where it's going, and it never seems to shift. So that's just.
Before I go to Tony with analysis of Lacazette, got to take in this comment from Mr. Bungle. And dog shit performance, and we sold the wrong goalkeeper. We can all. You go around here. I would probably agree with you. We sold. I wanted to keep two keepers. I know Gary and I did a podcast maybe a month ago. We talked about the value of keeping both keepers, but it's done. It's history. Martinez has been sold. There's nothing we can do about it, and constantly sort of revising history about selling your goalkeeper and now having to, Leno is a good goalkeeper. He hadn't made me as safe playing out from the back as Martinez did, but Arteta made this decision. Mahir?
I just wanna say to Sam and Gary and Tony, do you know the thing I enjoyed about Emi Martinez, right? Was always myself being calm when he gets the ball, wherever it is, if they're playing out through the back, and his distribution, and he's just. I wish Leno had that distribution. That's what I loved so much about Emi. His distribution was amazing, really, honestly
Yeah.
amazing.
Mahir,
Yeah.
are you okay with selling Martinez? You know, we're going to talk about this, but we can't talk about it through the season. At some point, we have to draw a line under this. The business has been done. The 20 million is in the bank, and we have to go spend it. And hopefully,
Yeah, I
if
mean,
it's part of a rebuild, I know Gary's okay with that, and we'll get everyone's opinion on the goalkeeper situation.
yeah, I mean, I'm okay with it. All I'm saying is, I just wish Leno had that attribute also,
Yeah,
because Liverpool could have honestly picked us apart with a lot of those mistakes, 2, 3, 4 mistakes. It would have been like clear as sight 3-0. You know, like when you're playing FIFA and you're getting a 3-0 is like, dude, hand over the controller, you're done.
yeah. Well, right at the end, it was like, okay, turn off the television. It's done. 3-1. It's done. Tony, let's goalkeeping situation. What's your outlook on that? Yeah, Leno didn't play well, right? But Martinez is gone. He's a Villa player now, so we have to follow the player who's wearing the shirt.
Martinez was worth less than £1 million 6 months ago. We get 20 for him, just move on and get behind Leno and support him. I don't
Yeah,
think
and that's what Gunnar Glenn is saying there, Sam. Final words on the Martinez Leno situation, Sam.
Well, you know, they had to make. It was a tough decision, but at the end of the day, I think they probably made the right overall decision in their eyes, because there's a whole discussion around this you guys have had and everything. But the one thing for me is I do see there is a clear difference in the way they were able to play out from the back. I mean, Leno, he's not as good and as fluid with the ball at his feet. His distribution is not as good. You know, you see his kicking tonight was still off. He was kicking the ball out sometimes. It was completely unnecessary. And that is a part of Leno's game that is not good enough, unfortunately. That is one of the few weaknesses he has. And for us, the way we play, this is what's frustrating a little bit for me, is because those two say those attributes of a goalkeeper, distribution and being able to play the ball with your feet, they are the two maybe most important parts of a goalkeeper's attributes for Arsenal, the way we play.
Modern game, yeah.
Playing out from the back,
yeah,
like we do with Arteta, and having to be in tight situations and have a tight distribution with marked players. I mean, you've got to be so precise with the passes you're making when the players are marked the way they are. And this is something Leno's not good at. Leno's not good at this. And he's shown it for such a long time, and this is the issue I have is, we've got a goalkeeper who's not very good at doing this, and this is something we keep doing. And you saw tonight Liverpool decided to push us even higher. They stood like an extra 10, 15 yards higher than last time because they knew they wanted to push us as deep and high as they could to force us into making mistakes, and we did. Leno was uncomfortable.
Gary?
Yeah, as you know, I if they were going to sell a goalie, I wanted it to help with the rebuild. We sold a goalie, and I don't see a rebuild. So
yeah, we want to see cash spent in the next week.
Yeah, and I think if we're going to sell, based on what we're seeing, what we know about Leno, he needs to have some better protection in front of him. Which to me would lead to maybe a Partey coming in, because now you strengthen up that back line and have somebody in front of them that can help to support them. Maybe a goalie, maybe that puts a little bit of pressure on the team coming in, and they're not able to pick us up so high, because they know if they don't, and he's able to spin off of them, good things could happen for us. But yeah, it's all timing right now. We make these sales, but we can't progress for other reasons. And so, like why do we make the sell so fast? Then if we couldn't actually proceed further because of other things, it seems like we started the process, but we're not going to be able to complete it because of other things we can't do.
And I'm hearing whispers about and the deal is getting closer and closer. But with Arsenal, it continues to be a grinding out process. Apparently, other teams go out and get their business done, but we are not fans of other teams, so we'll suffer in silence. And we have to stop talking about Martinez now. Yes, we can follow him and watch what he's doing at Aston Villa, but Bernd Leno is the Arsenal goalkeeper. Let's draw a line under it and move on. And Tony's got a reprieve for 5 or 6 minutes, so I'm going to come back to you now, Tony. We were talking about Lacazette, and Gary was just talking about Lacazette. And this is the thing about Lacazette. He's a big game player, but he's an instinctual player. When he doesn't have to think, he can score goals when he's in tight situations, such as we see today. But when he's got time and he's looking at the keeper, he's not as efficient, Tony.
Yeah, I think it'd really help if he had a creative player to play off of. It helps him with his instincts, so he's not sitting there having to think and think.
Yeah. Well, he's got to be more clinical, right? In those two chances, and you can see him. He's dying there. He's after coming off. He's got this jersey over his head. He knows. You get to 2-2 there, Sam. It could be a different game, right?
Well, the thing is with Liverpool, it's you're only ever going to get a few chances. That's it. You're only going to get a few chances, and if you're not taking them, that's it. You got to take what you get. And Lacazette missed a couple of really big chances, and that was that.
Yeah. Darren, thanks for joining us as well. Bellerin wound me up tonight. Those two bad throw-ins, which are not good enough in my opinion. A professional footballer needs to know how to throw a ball in.
It was a mess tonight. Bellerin was a mess tonight, complete mess.
This is slowly getting to be Arsenal fan C. I know and love. Yeah, sounded a dog shite performance by the Gunners, but it was against best side in the Premier League. So definitely thanks, Stefan, for coming all the time. We're as frustrated as the next channel, the next fan, but speaking for myself, I'm going to try and put an optimistic. And all the other 4 guests here have their own opinion, and they're able to. We should differ on some things. We should spark some comments and some arguments, right, Tony? There's certain points that we do disagree on.
Can't always agree.
I was getting frustrated with Leno with his passing short where Liverpool were close. Exactly, Sam. Alisson's a good footballer with his feet. Sweeper keeper. Maher, unfortunate, we hold the lead for 2 minutes. 2 minutes and 20 seconds. We were just starting to think of the possibilities. We could get out of here with a win, go to Anfield, and you shut up all of the Liverpool fans who are saying, Arsenal, typical Arsenal soft centres. I don't think we had a soft centre tonight until the last 5 or 6 minutes when clearly we were losing the game. But we made a better fist of it tonight, and I think clearly, as we said, we need to get players in. We need to strengthen our midfield. And Gary, I can see the pain in Gary's face there. He wants the team to go and buy a couple of players.
Yeah.
Am I here?
Yeah.
Gary, go.
And the funny thing is, I'm not even that. I'm not angry like I usually am angry, because like right now we're having a rant, basically going absolutely ballistic, absolutely fuming. But I don't honestly think it was such a bad performance. Although, with the mistakes and Lacazette missing and everything, I mean...
You smoking the Mary Jane? Am I here? Only the best stuff from me here.
It's one thing I was going to say on that note.
Yes, jump in, Gary.
I feel like I believe all of us figured out how we were going to play today. Based on the 2 ways based on the many ways we've played against the top sides, We knew we were going to have to compress and counterattack. We knew we were going to have to be sound on the back. We knew we were going to have to, take chances when they come, but then we need to get back and support the defense. And, I think we didn't get to see that today. So the plan that I believe Arteta put in place just we weren't able to perform that, implement that the way we wanted to. And that's why it looked, it was a kind of game that I think we wanted, we wanted the opportunities to go our way more than theirs, like we did in the first game, right?
Yeah.
Those two missteps by the center backs gave us the goals we needed. Today, we didn't have that. We didn't get those opportunities. We got one. We didn't get two, and that may have been the difference there. We weren't able to create those opportunities for us.
Annoying JA reviews. You're not annoying as long as you're nice and respectful and don't use bad language and stuff like that. We love all of supporters, and we can take the L and move on. We're not at that level yet where we can talk the talk. Dave Jota got a goal. Dave loves a synonym or a rhyming, so he's got his Jota gotta. That's his next video is going to have a Jota gotta in there. We got sold a moldy hot dog by Liverpool today. Yeah, and that's the hot dogs you were talking about on Twitter earlier, Mr. Bungle. I saw that. Bellerin gave that number 2 shirt a bad name tonight. And Darren holds the number 2 shirt, I know, in high esteem as well. Fussy with that number shirt. If you're going to be a right back with that shirt, do not ruin it by playing silly, stupid throw-ins, etc. Sorry, the rant is over. That's the conundrum, Sam. Bellerin does some good things in our team. He carries the ball forward. He is a bit of a threat. He's able to take the ball from the right back area, right wing back into midfield. But he's a limited player as well. The fan base are going to be 50-50 on him.
Well, the thing is, he used to be a winger, right? He started off as a winger. He was converted to play, right wing back or right back. And that is one thing he can do well, is bring the ball forwards. When he used to have more pace than he does now. He's not quite as quick as he used to be, which is not to his advantage anymore, I don't think. But he lacks so much defensively, and tonight it was just so visible. I mean, he was out of position so much tonight. I was so frustrated with him and Holding. I mean, those two tonight were like headless chickens. Him and Holding, they were so bad together. And the one thing Bellerin does so badly, and I can't believe he still does. There's a fundamental you're supposed to do as a right back. You're supposed to hold out wide in defence when the team's attacking against you. But he keeps, for some reason, he keeps coming into the middle like a centre back.
Yeah, getting sucked in.
He does that all the time, every game, and it leaves that whole flank and back post. The back post is always wide open.
Yeah. And
Liverpool knew that, and they played that many times today to the back post, and was successful with that. And I don't know, I don't get it. The guy just doesn't have it in his head. He doesn't know how to position himself in defence.
Cheers, Annoying J reviews. Thanks for being here. And Troy, great to see you, Troy. Big up you boys, but man, that was piss poor by the arse tonight. Troy, we have to realize that unless we get a couple of signings in, unless we spend the money from the goalkeeper and other possible sales, and we're not going to be in the same level as Liverpool. And it's going to take a full season. If we get our in and another player in midfield, then we can build to be this time next season talking about a possible real challenge. All you can ever do is guarantee you're going to challenge for the title. Maybe that's a little bit diluted. Maybe it'll be a little bit ways off. But if we could challenge and just fall away in 18 months' time from now, then I, for one, will be happy with that. And then, Sam, we're going to talk about the mismatches as well. That you just alluded to, Sam. But Tony, we need to go and get some players, right? We have sold our goalkeeper, Martinez. We've got money, and hopefully we're going to get a few other players moving that we can get those signings in, and I think it's going to happen. Arsenal always make us wait, Tony.
Yeah, we like doing our business at the last minute. Like parties had the same release cause the entire time, and we've just refused to go meet it. Be nice if we just get our business done, but we never do that. We
All
definitely
right,
two
cool.
midfielders. I think we really need a right back too.
Yeah. So Mahir is going to be with us for another 5 minutes, so I'll go to you, Mahir, with a couple of final questions. Let's talk about those mismatches. For me, I thought Holding had a difficult game against Sadio Mane. I actually thought Tierney had a difficult game with Salah, and that's not a bad thing. Tierney's going to learn some things. Tierney's a player who will go back and look at that game and realize he was definitely out of position for the equalizing goal where Salah gets around him. Possibly could have taken him down for a penalty. Salah gets the shot off. We talked about Leno. Probably could have dealt with that a bit better. And Sam talked about Bellerin getting sucked in too far. So Mane's there waiting for the tap in for the equalizing goal.
But it's just the same said. When you're pulling vital players, especially Tierney and Bellerin as right wing back and left wing back, when you're pulling them towards the center, right, that creates huge gaps.
Yeah, but they should stay. Sam was saying they should stay disciplined. Bellerin needs to stay on that back stick, not get sucked towards the penalty spot.
Exactly.
1,000,000% agree, but when will they learn this? Because
that's the question. That's the
tomorrow
question. Where
morning.
will they learn that?
Never.
Tomorrow morning, they will learn tomorrow morning. Arteta will drill it into them.
Yeah. If you watch the video of that,
Yeah.
as I was thinking about it, I was like,
Or,
William and Bellerin were the only ones that could have stopped that goal.
yes.
When they were on the attack, William was in the middle of the field, 20 yards behind Robinson. There was no way he was going to catch him. Then he probably could have if he decided to run, but like usual, jogging back to the middle, jogging back to the middle. Bellerin, like you said, collapses on the inside. I don't know why he didn't see Robinson out there, but he collapsed so far deep that by the time he turned around to look, Robinson had a clear shot at goal, and it was like, that being on that side, he has to know who's behind him at all times, I believe, because once he turns his back to them, he's in trouble.
Exactly.
Also efficient communication. Because if I'm not mistaken, there were two of them. I think Rob Holding was with somebody else also there.
He was doing his job. Holding was doing his job, but Bellerin came in and completely missed Mane.
Yeah. But like if you can see it. I mean, if you're playing for the team, right? Sam, I'm gonna call to yourself, or Gary, I'm gonna call to Tony. If I see you guys coming, I'm like, just let me do my job. Like, mark the guy that's clearly running in, or the guy that's free. Clearly mark him. Just mark him. I've got this guy under cover.
William should have helped as well. Yeah, William should have helped as well, because if he would have run back like he should have, he could have come in and he could have been there as well. But he didn't. He was only jogging, and he just had no chance of making it. But he should have, because he should have been back helping.
Yeah.
And he didn't. And then Bellerin was out of position, and Bellerin was out of position several times tonight, doing the same thing.
Wow.
It gave them a lot of joy down their left side against our right side. They were a lot more efficient there than they were against our left side.
And these are things, Sam, you can get away with when you're playing West Ham, maybe. Fulham. When you play Liverpool, they're going to punish you, and we've given up too many chances tonight against them.
As Mahir said, like communication. I think, and then maybe that's the difference between the two goalies. When Emmy, because they communicate, it's kind of funnels to everybody else because they realize, look, I'm being talked to, and then everybody's talking, and Arteta probably, hopefully, is seeing that they're not communicating, and that's why a lot of times we make a good play on it, and there's nobody there for support. Because they're not communicating and
again, Leno in goal, he can see what's going on, and he can talk, and he can say, Bellerin behind you, and that's something I don't think that's going on. I don't think they're talking, that's the thing.
Yeah. Gary, I'm going to come to you next. does this trigger Arteta, and we know he's going to have them in for 3 hours tomorrow, looking at the game, stopping the footage, showing them where they're out of position, right? But does this precipitate? This was our most difficult away game. We can all agree on that, right? But we do have difficult games
Yeah.
coming up: City, United, and all that. Does this give an opportunity for Saliba to come in place of Holding? Is it too early to do that to Saliba yet? Get him a game against Sheffield
I mean,
United.
you
at
could have.
home.
I think this game is a little hard because I don't think as an 11 we were anywhere close to where we want to be. So
Yeah,
it's hard
this
for me
game
to
was.
say.
I
Like
understand
I said,
this game.
yeah, I think if he's doing these things in 3 game chunks where I'm going to play some, my players for 3 games and see how they do and then make adjustments, then yes. But we didn't even get 3 games with the same team to know whether or not this 11 is the good one or not. They played 1 game, they took a game off.
Yeah.
I like to see, I've always wanted Arsenal to find their best 11 and play them consistently for a little while, so they can get a feel of how to play together.
Yeah,
We
and
saw
that's
it, yeah.
Mystery.
that's what disappointed me about not having Gabriel in the team tonight. If you're going to start with a Gabriel against Fulham and West Ham, then continue on that thing. And I know he wanted to keep it tight. Mahir, if you're Arteta, does this make you want to bring Saliba in and break him into the team, or do you wait another 5 or 6 games till all of the most difficult games are out of the way?
I actually would have put in Gabriel. I was actually expecting maybe Gabriel to be playing
Yeah.
in this
Yeah.
game because he looks fairly confident in what he's doing, very cool, calm, and collected.
Yeah.
Other than the likes of like a Rob Holding, who recently we've all been like, "Whoa, this dude is he's looking a little bit suspect." If you guys catch my
Yeah.
drift.
And I think this Tony, this is going to be the worst we're going to look this season. Playing away against Liverpool when we meet them in the new year, whenever that's going to be on the return fixture, I think we'll be a lot farther in our progression. At least I hope so. And we just didn't turn up. We didn't seem to be committed enough. Liverpool Tony, the game is about your willpower and your drive and what you want to do more. Is very often the skills you can put aside, but if you don't have in here that you want to win, and Klopp wanted to win tonight, and Liverpool wanted to win, Tony.
I think we wanted to win too. Just the skill and communication wasn't there.
I'm not sure. We were beaten to many of the balls by Liverpool. They let us have the ball from the goalkeeper out, and you could see them compressing on us faster than any other team had done, and we were resorted to long balls as well. Sam, what would you do with Saliba? You wait another 5 or 6 games, or would you throw him in there against Sheffield United on Sunday?
I think first of all, the first thing I would do is I'd make sure Holding is not playing because he doesn't deserve to play.
So you bring him in.
He played so poorly tonight. He can't play. He just can't play because having him on the field is just it's a threat. It's a threat to our defense.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you shuffle them around? I mean, if you're going to leave, if you think Saliba might be not quite ready yet, but you have to play someone else. So do you then put Gabriel on the right then maybe, or do you put him in? Because Luis has to stay in the middle, right? Luis goes to the middle.
Luis will stay in the middle. Gabriel is your left centre back. Saliba is your right centre back.
So maybe what I'll do then is I'd maybe bring in Saliba and give him a go. Yeah, see what he's like. Yeah, because I definitely can't play Holding. Just can't play him.
No, I mean if we go away to City, and City are going to be hurt. We're going to do a section here pretty soon, Premier League review. So we're going to go through all of the games here. But yeah, we're going to play City next. Our next away game is City, and they got burned by Leicester. So you better believe they're going to be motivated to win that game. I would like to blood Saliba right now and just go with it, But it's a delicate thing for Arteta to do.
Yeah, I think Saliba is not quite as ready as we think he is. Because apparently, I don't know whether it's right or not, but I was reading people who had watched the under-23 game he played against Aston Villa. He played Saliba, and apparently he wasn't that brilliant. You know, he looked okay.
Yeah, exactly. Looked okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's thinking, is he maybe not quite ready yet? Maybe he just needs a bit more time in training and blending with the squad a bit more. I don't know. Arteta will, I think, will make the right decision, but I'm just thinking of alternatives, because you can go Tierney out wing back, or you can leave Tierney left. You can put maybe Gabriel right then, which is slightly out of position. Keep Luiz in the middle, and then you have Saka. Then you can use Saka out left wing back.
Yeah. I'm just leery of playing Gabriel on the right side. Mahir, I know you got to go right now. You'll be in the comments section, so
yes, I'll be in the comments. Gary, Sam, Tony, much love to you guys. Be safe.
And
thanks
once
so
again,
much for joining us.
Cheers, nice to see you.
Stepping in on Saturday. Thanks.
Nice to see you, mate.
All right, so let's do our final word on this Liverpool game, and then we'll get into the Premier League review. And this is something we're going to do Sunday and Thursday. And on Thursday, I think we're going to do what's the best results for Arsenal for the forthcoming weekend. So I know personally, I look at every game, and you pick a horse, you pick a dog in the fight. Well, for me, it's always about what's the best result for Arsenal. And we'll go from there. But final words tonight. Listen, we're going for top four. We are not competing against Liverpool for the title. We're not trying to be Chelsea here this season, at least. Maybe next season we can be a bit like Chelsea, talk the talk, and then we have to walk the walk. We're going for top four. We're going to go through the Premier League review. We're going to see what the other teams have done. I don't think there's anything to be afraid of. Was after Liverpool and City, it seems like the standard drops off pretty dramatically after that. And that's a problem for the league. The league needs to compete with Liverpool. Liverpool, I'm sure, don't want to be walking the league, but they'd like to win it competitively one of these seasons. They walked away with the last season. But for Arsenal, I think we just didn't turn up, and Arteta is going to regret some choices, I think, tonight. Should have probably started Ceballos with Xhaka for me. And I think that's the main thing, because we saw how Ceballos did help create some chances for Lacazette tonight. The other thing was, unfortunately, Lacazette got a couple of chances that we wanted Aubameyang to take. So, Gary, your views on tonight's game, 3-1 loss at Anfield.
Yeah, like I said, I think it was to be expected. I was hoping that we'd be able to show a little different result, get a better result. I'm not disappointed in it. I think there's a lot to build on, and things that I was hoping we wouldn't have to be building on. I do want us to be a little bit more consistent with the lineup, so I can see progress from one to the next. Because if Holden's out, and so now we're changing another person on the back line, and if Ceballos has to come in, and now we're changing another one, so now we go back to back 4 games in a row in the Premier League using different lineups. And it's hard for, I think, some of the at least the ones I want to see play well if they're not playing consistently, in games back to back, at least in whatever league, or tournament we're playing.
I think what will make you feel a bit better, Gary, is that Arteta is trying to make his squad interchangeable. He's trying to coach these players that he can slot an El Nani in there, or a Ceballos, or a Xhaka with an El Nani, and pretty much have the same, I want to say quality, but, it is what it is. But hopefully he's trying to do that, and the same thing with the back line. Yeah. Tony, your thoughts on tonight's game before we get into the Premier League review?
I just think we got outplayed. They're a better team.
You look shell-shocked, Tony.
I was mid-thought before you asked me. I just think they're a better team. We still need better players.
Yep.
And better communication on the. I think communication is the key tonight. This is poor.
Sam, there's plenty of things and plenty of footage for Arteta to work on tomorrow.
Oh yes. There's plenty of mistakes there to learn from. But listen, I just think as a whole, we are. I mean, this is our first year of the 3-year development plan, right? So we're just a few months in to the development plan. Actually, we're only in like the first month of the season. So, we're very early days yet in terms of development under Arteta and where he wants to be in 3 years. So, we've got to take that into account. We're going to take steps forward. And I think if you compare today's overall performance compared to previous years, the previous like 3 or 4 or 5 years, I would say we're going in the right direction still. We are moving in the right direction.
I think mentally we've toughened up a little bit. Physically, yes, we could be a little more robust in midfield. But let's draw a line under that. We go to Sheffield United. Liverpool was always going to be a tough game away from home. We play Sheffield United next, and we'll see what happens there. Actually, the next game is the Carabao Cup, and we will talk about that on Thursday night. And you can work in, when we do the Premier League review, you can backtrack here, the other three of you. I think it will be a vastly different team. We can almost field two 11s now. And I think the cup game is going to be interesting. I always said, putting my neck on the line here, I always said we would get a positive result from these 2 games. So that means we are going to go through in the next round in the Carabao Cup on Thursday night. So
good to know. Good to know.
Come back on Thursday night. Gary, Sam, and Tony will be here, and you can read me the riot act if that's the case. It's okay. So Premier League review. First game up, Brighton, Man United. A lot of things happened in this game. The talking point, and we're going to go through all of the games, so pretty much. So we'll keep it to a few seconds here and there. But the main talking point was obviously the penalties, the handballs, the VAR. For me, the referee blew the whistle, but the incident happened before the whistle blew. So for me, it's perfectly, I'll go to you, Sam, perfectly within rights to, as much as it pains me to say, give Man United that give Man United that penalty.
I mean, of course, the thing that stings so much is it's so late, it's controversial, and then, the actual penalty decision then happens after the final whistle, which confuses many people thinking, you can't do that, it's after the final whistle. But as you correctly point out, it's because the actual incident happened before the full-time whistle and VAR was called upon before the full-time whistle that they were allowed to do that. So, technically it's fine. It's just, it's at Man United, it's controversial. Man United got 25 penalties last season in all competitions. I mean, penalties in Manchester United are always going to cause.
I think 14 discussion. Tony's the stat man, so I'll go to Tony next. I think it was something like 17 penalties in the Premier League that Man United got. They're well on track to do the same thing this season.
Yeah.
But Tony, any viewpoint on that? It's I can see players being coached to actually pass the ball onto players' hands, defenders' hands. It's very, very difficult to be a defender now in the Premier League. You need your hands and your arms for balance. And the referees are now going to have to determine if it was intentional or not. I think that they have to do that, right, Tony?
Yeah, I just don't like the rule change to begin with, and now they can't change it until after a season, so we're stuck with this for the whole season, which is awful. I don't know why you can't go ahead and change the rule.
Yeah.
This is a typical people at that level making the decisions where probably most of them have never even played football properly at a professional level. And what I think what it is they're just trying to simplify the handball rule, because previously we got to like a level where people couldn't understand the handball rule because it was so complicated. Is it the intent there? Is it in a position there? What kind of position? Is it an active position or not? It's just there was so much the referee had to analyze. It became too difficult. I think they just said, okay, we just want to keep it simple, and you just can't touch the arm. And then they don't realize that, like you say, you have to have your arm somewhere, right? If you're defending, you're defending, you're running or whatever, you're turning for balance. Your arms have to be there for balance. So it's ridiculous that they go that far, that just anything that touches the arm is a handball. It's just gone too far the other way.
And I think, Gary, we're going to see that. And now we at least have referees going to the sideline to check the monitors, to have a look at it for themselves,
Yeah, I don't like all these cameras at games. It just it changed. They've changed the game now. You see it all. Players don't know what. Players have to play to a whistle now, whereas before, if they did a good job, they got the benefits of it. Right now, it's like in most sports, it hurts the defense because that's not where the money is. There's no money in defense, right? So only people getting punished in this whole thing are the defenders. Sometimes they
feel your frustration.
They want things to be perfect, and there's no such thing. There's just no such thing.
Yeah. I'll stay with you, Gary. Palace, Everton. Everton, I think someone was on the podcast on Saturday saying transformed. This Everton team is transformed right now with James Rodriguez especially, and that midfield driving them on.
Yeah, they look. And they're playing. They're consistent, and all their players seem to be in the right spots at the right time. Every time we look at them, so they look really good right now. They're playing as a team, and you're seeing it, and that's where we all want to be.
Tony, definitely a couple of decisions there in terms of handball as well.
Yeah, their handball came into that game too, and like Gary was saying, I thought Everton would be back up to being a top 6 team this year, and they might end up challenging for the top 4.
A good time to say we're going to run a competition. We're going to do predictions. In about 2 weeks from now, we're going to do predicted. We're going to do a prediction podcast. You're going to have the benefit of 4 games. It'll be after Sheffield United. Sam, Crystal Palace, Everton, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I always get that mixed up.
Yeah, Calvert-Lewin, yeah.
He's the only player I get that mixed up with. Great player to have in your fantasy football league, and but Roy Hodgson is lamenting the decisions from the referee again.
Yeah, well, it's a bit harsh, isn't it, and everything. But Everton, they're. I said before this season, I said, listen, don't. Everton are going to show something because they're going to buy players, and they're going to turn out a good team this season because they have Usmanov, who has a lot of money and a lot of ambition, as we know from his dealings with Arsenal. And when they got Ancelotti, that was a statement of intent. They didn't get Ancelotti just to plug some holes or just
retire.
For the fun of it. They brought in Ancelotti because they wanted him to prove something. And yes, he came in and he didn't really have a squad, and it was difficult for him to work with what he had. But now he's starting to get the pieces he needs. That's what we start to see now. They brought in some really good midfielders, Alan, Doucouré. I was quite surprised Doucouré went to Everton. I thought we might go to one of the other bigger teams.
I wanted him.
Definitely, Arsenal, we could have definitely had use of him. But yeah, so with those guys and James Rodriguez being the real surprise, transfer for them. He's completely revolutionised their midfield, and that's working well together with Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin. It's turned Calvert-Lewin now into a goal scorer, right? He had the potential. He's shown he has some potential. He's a decent forward, and it's turning him now into a good forward.
Yeah.
So listen, with Ancelotti, Everton are going to be a tough team to beat this season with Ancelotti and that
exactly.
midfield.
Yeah. Tony, let's move on to West Brom, Chelsea. During the podcast I was watching them, I hear that West Brom raced into a 3-0 lead. Thiago Silva is learning. The Premier League is unforgiving.
Yeah, that's a silly, stupid mistake by him. Chelsea started off real sloppy, but then their offense kicked in and got the draw.
And interesting to see, Sam, that the players last season who have the benefit of a season betting in, younger players, if you will, pulled them out of the fire.
Yeah, I tell you what, that was a surprising thing. You look at you look at their players they've got now, and it's basically the three youngsters who have managed to save their bacon, right? I mean, Mount, Abraham, and Hudson-Odoi. So, it's very surprising to see that the three players basically everyone thought that's it. We're going to see that. We're not going to see them anymore. They're going to be gone now with the new players, but they're the players who actually pulled them out of the fire. This one, and then completely, saved their bacon. So that was quite a surprise, I thought. But they got lucky. Chelsea got lucky. Managed to get the third goal and get the point. I was so frustrated with that. I would love to have seen them lose, but this is the thing with Chelsea. They're looking very good. Pretty well. I don't think they're looking good in that game, but I'm talking on paper. They're looking pretty good, but still their defense is still a question mark, and you saw that again. And there's that big meme now going out with one of the Chelsea fans on the football terrace who said when they bought Thiago Silva, they said, he's a 36-year-old Van Dijk. That's become a big meme now, So yeah, pretty much a bad one, that one for him.
All right, Sam. This is an interactive podcast, so you kind of we'll throw this question at you. What is Arsenal's excuse? Look at Everton, Sam.
I say, it's down to recruitment, isn't it? And it's down to intent, and they wanted to put the money there, and that's what they've done, right? Arsenal, we like to do things in a slightly different way. Sell some players first, build up, generate a bit of cash. And then we pay more in installments and things like that. It's we have our own way of doing things. Unfortunately, it takes a long time, and it's very frustrating.
And also, we can get a better. Theoretically, you can get a better amount of money for a player if you sell what we have first and then go out and buy.
Yeah.
Gary, going back to West Brom, Chelsea. Frank Lampard looked a little bit sheepish at full time, a little bit under pressure, if you will.
And this is what we were expecting, right? They're going to bring in all these players. It's going to take a little bit of while for them to gel.
Yes.
The fact that the game was saved by players that had already been there, or maybe had played a little bit in the previous season, maybe that makes a difference. And that's, they've already played in this league, so they've already played with this team. So There's a little bit of continuity there. So these are the games that we would expect if they were hell bent on staying with the players that they brought in. Maybe they lose this one, but by making some changes, going back to some of the players in the past, they're able to get some points out of this.
And that's the thing. Players who just come in, Chelsea fans are gassed. They think they're going to win the league this year. But those players just came in. You can't expect them to hit the ground running. Werner is going to have to adapt. Ziyech and Havertz as well. Tony, going to go to you. We'll take two games in tandem. Kind of nothing games, but Burnley, Southampton. Hassan Hüttl gets his first goal. Danny Ings, he's going to be up there in the goal scoring charts again this season. And then Leeds United, Sheffield United. Leeds getting a goal right at the end through Bamford. Leeds are going to be a decent team. Looks like Sheffield United, our next Premier League opponents, are struggling.
Yeah, Sheffield's definitely struggling. It's a good time to play them. We should pick up 3 points.
Yep. Gary said, "Don't hex us."
We are Santa Claus. We give a lot of presents.
We give presents. Yeah.
Sheffield might be looking at that the day before this game is Christmas Eve, and then Santa's coming to town.
So, Gary, are Sheffield United going to struggle this season?
They should. If we play if we play like we did in the first 20 minutes of this game that we just played today, they will struggle, and we should be able to control the game the way we want.
What's Sheffield United's season going to look like? Yeah. If they're in the bottom half but away from relegation, it should be a good season for them, right?
If they're 4 games in with no goals, I think that's going to set them back a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Southampton game, anything? No real drama there, right?
No, I don't think so. No, they got the better striker up top, right? So
Danny Ings, Sam, your thoughts on Leeds United, Sheffield United, Burnley, Southampton?
Yeah, Leeds United are going to be a decent team this year. Obviously with Bielsa and that drive and that attitude he's going to have in the team there, and they've got some decent players as well. Sheffield United are having a hangover season, I think, after last season. There are a few reasons for that, of course. They've They haven't got Jordan Henderson in goal anymore. Oh, sorry, what's his name? Henderson, the Man United goalkeeper. He was brilliant for them last season.
Dean Henderson.
Sorry, Dean Henderson. Yeah, Jordan, of course, is a Liverpool player. Sorry. Anyway, it's a Henderson. They haven't got Henderson, who was a great player for them last season. And things aren't just clicking as they were last season. It doesn't seem to be working quite as well. They struggle up front, like you say. They don't really have that quality up front. So, they're going to struggle this season. Sheffield United compared to last season. Leeds, I think, are going to do quite well. And, Burnley, Southampton, bit of a drab game, bit of a boring game. And like you guys said, the difference is the quality up front. You've got Danny Ings. He's the difference between the two teams.
Yeah. Listen, if you're watching this live or on playback and you haven't hit the like button by now, please do so.
Yeah, smash the likes.
Take a moment, smash the like. It does help the channel get up there. We hope you're going to like this new section as well. We're going to spend some minutes in the Premier League review. Okay, nice one next. Tottenham, Newcastle. Tottenham go 1-0 up. I'm smiling here. I'm sorry, James Fernandez. Sorry. I'm smiling. 1-0 up, but they don't seal the deal. You always need that second goal. And, to concede a penalty in the dying minutes, Gary, for me as an Arsenal fan, I'm enjoying that.
Yeah. Oops. Oh, well. Yeah. So, I think we're happy to see that. Couldn't happen to a better team, I guess. So we'll enjoy that. We just need to do our, we just need to do we need to do our job. So you can't be enjoying their failures and doing the same.
Let's not let that team beat us this season. Sam, Jose Mourinho finally admitting Tottenham is a small club.
Listen, I think he's starting to realise that his team. This is something that he. You guys have all watched All or Nothing, right? The Tottenham documentary, the Tottenham
Bits and pieces here and there.
Yeah. Because you see very early on, as soon as Mourinho comes into that team, basically the club, the team, he's notified the big problem, and that is they don't have any guts, they don't have any balls.
Yeah.
They're nice guys, they're nice boys, they got skill, but they're nice. And that's the thing with Tottenham. They're just too nice. They let things happen. They're not ruthless enough to win games nasty and do the nasty things you need to do. Like Mourinho. You hear Mourinho saying, be tough, get tough in the tackles. Like if you target players with yellow cards, get them a red card. Target the players who you think are going to be sent off. And the Tottenham players are just not doing it. They're just too nice. And it's. For me, I think, like you say, they're a small club, and they're just they're not ruthless. They're not the type of mentality of a team that suits Mourinho, and I think he's realizing that more and more that he's going to struggle to get a string of results out of them anyway this season. I think they're not going to be up there for Champions League. I don't think.
No, Tony. Liverpool showed Arsenal tonight again, another step up in level. They were determined, they were tough, but Tottenham don't have that mentality even to hold out for a win there.
Yeah.
They're weak-minded, just how mentality they need, and especially with Jose being coach, they'll give up on him pretty quick, and he'll be out the door.
Yeah. Sam, probably the strangest game was Manchester City 2, Leicester 5. Strangest game of the weekend for me.
And again, it's the same problem Chelsea have. Their defense. I mean, they brought in Ake, but that Garcia was terrible, and they're struggling to find a defense that works, a central pairing that works, and they're really exposed. And when you come up against a team that can be quite ruthless, with the way they play in behind and play crosses. Very good at crossing, Leicester. It's going to be a tough game for you. And they were lucky; they ended up with three penalties? I think they got.
Yeah.
And then Jamie Vardy, he got that one really good goal as well from like a few yards out. Just a classic come in, cut in, great cross in, and he just whips it in first time.
the kind of finish that Olivier Giroud used to do for Arsenal. That
Exactly, and Jamie
Jamie
Vardy
Vardy,
does that so well, yeah. And so
um,
so a Vardy hat trick, and he doesn't need many chances. They got some penalties, and yeah, for me, Leicester were very clinical. They showed again that they're doing quite well. That they started well again under with the Premier League season like they did last season. They've started strongly again. They're a clinical team. But for me, Manchester City are showing that they're vulnerable. They've got firepower. But they're vulnerable. They can be got to.
I don't think they have enough firepower up front. If you're going to rely on Gabriel Jesus and Sterling,
Yes,
he's
been
be
poor.
tough. Yeah.
He's been poor, yeah. But I was thinking more like they still have
From
decent
midfield.
players up there to score goals and everything. Plenty from midfield. But as again overall, with that defense, they can be got at. It's they have a what's it called, chink in their armor.
Yeah. Gary, what kind of worried me a little bit about Leicester is they're very, very easy to go down in the penalty box, and that's what opposing defenders have to be aware of. Jamie Vardy and a couple other players, you put your hand on their shoulder, they're dropping to the floor.
Yeah, and I was hoping we would have done that today when we got somebody put our hands on one of our forwards and we didn't go down as hard as I thought that we should have. But yeah, I think those were more just the defense not being solid. And, you put yourself out of position and then you get penalized, you get punished for it one way or the other. Or either you let somebody get the goal, or they go, or you just run up their back, which is what happened. I think 2 or 3 times to get those penalties. This is the defense was chasing after them.
City, if they don't go out and buy, and this is what Arsenal are faced tonight with. Jack has just said, very surprised about how we turned up. I just think that we didn't turn up today. Everyone expected a little bit more from Arsenal. I expected probably a 2-1 defeat. I was hoping for a 2-2 draw, but I think the players are going to be in tomorrow morning early and watching some videotape, as I said. Tony, did we get your take on the Leicester game, Leicester City? Maybe you're not there. We'll move on. West Ham 4, Wolves now. We did a couple of podcasts there one Saturday with Charlie, West Ham fan, and got an insight into what's going on with their club. They have ownership issues just like us, but they gave us a game, Sam, and they gave us a game, and we could see West Ham were going to be decent. So I'm not surprised by that result.
Exactly, and we said that. I remember we said that to the West Ham lads after the game. We were quite lucky actually to win that game. We were the better team slightly overall, but West Ham really gave us a good game. And they were arguing, West Ham always show up against Arsenal, don't really show up against anyone else. And we were like, well, they look quite good, and if they can keep that mentality and that that drive up, they're gonna play well and they're gonna win games. And that's exactly what they did against Wolves. I think they really showed up again. And they've showed that they're not the pushovers everyone thinks they are.
Definitely, Gary. The kind of game you get a couple of goals from Bowen, a decent player. They got the first goal off of a quick free kick. The Wolves were not set. Kind of a very bad performance from Wolves. You wouldn't expect that from them, but a result like that can kind of snowball on you. You get 2 goals up, and then you can quickly get another couple, and that's kind of what happened.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, I think we got lucky. I believe we got lucky with the way that game ended for us against West Ham, because they had opportunities, and since then they've been able to put those opportunities to good use, and they won their last 2 matches handily. And we didn't get to play some of their players, so I think it's that. So yeah, I think we should. I mean, I like to think that would have helped with the planning for this game, knowing how we played the last time out for the Premier League, and the team comes out this one and still doesn't look like they learned anything from that game as much as we would have wanted them to. So it's a little downer, but hopefully they can see the gaps in their game and kind of where their improvements need to be.
Tony, did we get your take on the City game? Leicester City, Leicester.
Unknown caller.
No, you didn't.
Huh?
No.
Do you want to comment quickly on the Leicester City game, and then the West Ham Wolves?
I think Leicester's would be
This
a.
message is intended to contact you in regards to a legal case filed against you.
Leave me
All right.
alone.
We'll give you a break there. We'll move on to the next game.
Here, I'm ready.
You're good?
Yep.
All right. West Ham Wolves. West Ham did quite well getting 3 points. We thought that they would based on the game against Arsenal.
Yeah, I still think it's surprising how bad Wolves were going back to.
Yeah. Yeah, Wolves could be one of those teams. I'm kind of putting them in the same bracket as Sheffield United. They could struggle this season after having a really, really good season last season.
Yeah, a bit of a hangover effect, yeah.
Yeah. I can't really comment on Fulham, Aston Villa. Did you guys see it?
Yeah, I guess
Martinez had a mistake apparently, but it didn't matter because it was VAR or something like that, and it wouldn't have counted or it didn't count anyway. So
So Martinez is human, not superhuman. He does make mistakes, just like our German goalkeeper, right?
Yeah, I think Fulham looked like they did against us. Just they're not ready for this league just yet.
They're struggling.
So, Gary, do you have them at 18th, 19th, or 20th in your predicted table?
Right now, they look like a really strong 20. I'm hoping their manager can last. I don't know, because it's not going to get it's not going to get easier every time he goes out there. He looked at halftime. They showed him walking off the pitch by himself, and they're like, it's a lonely place out there, and it was just him walking in, and you knew he's probably thinking, "Wow, did we really want to move up for this?" They need to do a little soul searching and kind of like anything else, it's baby steps. You can't try to fix everything at once, and there's little things he's going to have to do. Similar to what Arteta did. We had a mess on our hands, and he took his time to take a look at it, and then he started making adjustments here and there, and they're going to need that. I mean, like anything else, they need to be solid at the back. They need to be, that a lot of those goals, man, they didn't look like a team that played together, and continuity is key.
I also keep hearing so much about this Mitrovic, their forward. Fulham's forward is Mitrovic. He's supposed to be so good.
Yeah.
What's he done?
Against us, like anything else, a strong, powerful forward will hurt us, right? And that's kind of what we were worried about with Antonio. He's like that as well.
He didn't play
against us, and everybody thought, why did they do that? When he came in, he had Bellerin threw him down. He was, those hurt us. I don't think it hurts a lot of other teams because they were able to handle it a little bit better.
Yeah.
But in the game today, he couldn't take. He had some chances, but he couldn't control the game the way he would want it to.
And I also think, I didn't see this game, but with Martinez in the team, he's giving Aston Villa a lot more defensive solidity, and they're able to go and get some goals. So I think Aston Villa could have.
He's got 2 clean sheets now, hasn't he? 2 clean sheets.
Yeah, I think they could go and be in the top half of the table. I think Aston Villa could be.
Yeah,
everybody
we helped them out twice. We helped them out twice. We didn't beat them, and then we gave them a goalie. So.
Mahir can't wait till Martinelli gets back, and we're all hoping that he comes back just the way he left off from us. You know what I mean? Lumber Camp, thanks for coming in. We're going to do a Premier League review every Thursday and Sunday now. Any other top team keeps Martinez and makes Leno play his way back into form, but our cheap owners force us to sell to buy. Disgrace. And we're going to know, Sam, in about 7 days from now.
If they were cheap owners, they would have sold the goalie that commanded the most money. So I don't know if they're cheap as much as something else,
Yeah.
I think we're currently waiting to offload some players before we bring someone in.
Yeah.
I think we're in that position now where we need to get rid of some players anyway. Our squad is far too big.
With the quota.
We have to sell some players anyway. Even if we have to end up loaning them out or giving them away, we have to get rid of them.
And I think all of that's in place, Tony. What do you think? What is your current feeling on the next 7 days or whatever it is, 7 or 8 days?
Hopefully we bring in 2 players. I think we're only going to get in one. We need to sell at least 4 or 5 players, especially with the quota.
Yeah. All right. So no matter how it happens, there's something has to happen. We've seen against Liverpool, not a disgraceful 5-1 defeat, but very much as we expected. We're hearing plaudits from pundits, a valiant effort. I, for one, don't want to hear that too much more longer against Liverpool and City. A valiant effort is a draw or a win for me. But go around the house here. Final words, Gary.
Yeah, this is hopefully a stepping stone. Like I said, we've got these 38 tests. We're 3 tests in, and
Yeah,
we need to do better. We need to do better. And like I said, I also would like to find out who that starting 11 is for us, so I know what we can build on, and we'll see.
yeah. Alvin has said, and the new name around here, Alvin, if you're new and you like the stream, slap a like and subscribe, and you'll hit the bell notification as well. We talked about this a little bit earlier, the possibility maybe of bringing Saliba in. Is this a good time? And just check back if you want to know about that. But your comment is need the back three, Luiz, Gabriel, Saliba. Luiz is good, need good support, and Leno was poor. Sam, your final word?
Yeah, I just think we're, despite the loss, I still think we had a half-decent game. Not brilliant, but still half-decent. We had some chances to score goals. A couple of big misses from Lacazette. We could have, maybe even drawn the game. And overall, I think, we've got to remember we're still first month of the first season with Arteta, his first full season as manager of Arsenal. And it's a 3-year development plan. And, we just got to take it for what it is, one step at a time, right? And I still think overall we're showing improvements compared to previous games at Anfield, and that's what we've got to take it for what it is. And the next game now in the league against Sheffield United, we've got to take 3 points, and then we've got to, like everyone's saying here in the panel, we've got to win all our games, well, as much as we can, all the games against the teams who are lower than us on the table, and take the points we can from the teams that are above us.
Exactly. Mahir said consistency now. We're not expected to beat Liverpool away from home. We'd like to get a couple of points here and there in these big games. Tony, your final thoughts, and give us your Tony Down 1 man of the match as well.
I think we just need to keep on improving. We need to get better communication. I think that was our worst part of today. I think we had the effort, especially in the second half. We just fell short. We needed to be a little bit more clinical.
Mm-hmm.
Bomarang didn't show up for another big game. He just goes missing in big
games. I've been saying since he got that contract, I know it's been a couple of difficult games, but that's 2 games now. He needs to show up in the next one he plays in. And Lumbercamp, we talked about the keepers a little bit earlier as well. Kind of agree with you. Leno didn't have the greatest game. Tony?
I really didn't have a Don Juan man of the match. I think Ceballos coming on was probably the best player out of the starting players. I really don't know who I would give it to.
Yeah,
I was going to say with that.
Gary.
So if there's no best man of the match who started, then is there a bear of the day?
Yeah.
Do we have a bear of the day?
We could do.
Or is it early? It's a Monday, so things start.
We'll think about it in a cold light today and come back on Thursday night. Troy, best comment here, I think. Got to take it on the chin and march on. I think that's the way it is. Leno's communication issue needs to be fixed, and all will be okay. So listen, thanks everyone thanks Mahir, Sam, Tony, and Gary for joining me tonight on kind of short notice. I wanted to get something done here after being away for a little bit. Was on holiday, just came back today. So back to the daily grind for me tomorrow. We will reconvene on Thursday night. There is a small matter of a Carabao Cup tie, and hopefully we can keep our fingers crossed that our second team gets better results than our first team, as was the case last season in the Europa League. But I think all things being said, we kind of didn't turn up tonight, and that's probably the most disappointing thing. Or if we afforded Liverpool too much, what do you call it? Too much, you know the word I'm trying to get. Too much respect, you know.
Yeah. We have
But
good players too.
Liverpool fans will tell you that they turned this around and the so-called Arsenal hoodoo has been lifted, But Liverpool fans, I think we are coming for you in the next year or two. So watch out, watch this space. We are going to watch Arsenal get better as the months go on, and I'm hopeful that we can crack into the top four tonight. Not tonight, but this season. Thanks for watching tonight, everyone, live and on playback. Slap a like again before you leave here, and catch us on Thursday night again. We'll be back with Carabao Cup. Thanks, everyone.
Okay.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.